Take this mind of mine. Take this mind of mine.
The United Nations making predictions that by 2050, we will be 9.7 billion people. If all these people get educated, get technologically empowered, 9.7 billion people or nearly 10 billion people on this planet is for sure going to be a disaster. Yes. We can make arrangements and arrangements, we can improve the arrangements, we can make more energy-saving machines, we can recycle the shit.
Step aside, skim milk. You're done, almond milk. There might be a new milk coming to town and it's about to crawl right into the dairy aisle at the supermarket. Cockroach milk. Scientists are saying cockroach milk could be one of the most nutritious things you can drink.
I am not a bigot. I am not a science denier. Cockroach milk is so much more sustainable and nutritious than real milk. I am a good global citizen who gets his recommended daily dosage of vitamin TV. The planet is dying because I exist. The good grown-ups on the TV screen are trying to help us solve this #climate crisis by helping us sterilize ourselves and eat sustainable nutrient-fortified vegan kibble so our sick, sad, dying mommy Earth can feel all better. I'm going to ask my wife's boyfriend if it is socially acceptable to consume cockroach milk as an ethical vegan and animal rights activist.
Discovered cockroach milk has 4 times as much protein as cow's milk. 4 times as much.
Yes. We can do all this, no matter what we create, no matter how much we strive, whatever we build, everything is going to be insufficient because the planet is going to be insufficient. I was in a conference and I said, see, unless you reduce the human footprint on the planet, there is no solution for anything. Then they asked me a brilliant question, how do you reduce the human footprint? I said, you have to reduce the number of feet. That's the only way. I'm not saying children are bad, they're wonderful, but it's just too many. We as human beings, we are wonderful, but we are too many. We are so many that the insect population is going down. No, it's not a joke, it's very threatening. If the insect population disappears, the planet will be destroyed. Yes, the worms disappear, the planet will be destroyed. If you and me disappear, planet will flourish. Our life expectancy has improved. This means we have taken death into our hands. When we take death into our hands, it is our business to take birth also into our hands, isn't it?
I feel so empowered on my vegan climate activist hero's journey. We are all one. I am a highly evolved god who evolved from cosmic pond scum. We are all God. I am you and you are me. We're a happy family that needs to save its dying mommy from our toxic exhalations by taking #climate action now with the more evolved good grown-ups at governments, banks, and global corporations to help educate us how to get rid of ourselves and all the toxic extra human baby feet to decrease our atrocious carbon footprints and save the planet and evolution from ourselves, because we are all one.
We're standing here, for this is an emergency. We're standing here for all that we hold dear. We're standing here for beauty and diversity. And we're standing in the love that binds us all. And we demand our government must tell the truth.
Climate change tops the environmental agenda at present. We all know that every additional person will need to use some carbon energy, if only for firewood for cooking, and will therefore create more carbon dioxide. Similarly, we can all see that every extra person is or will an extra victim of climate change. I meet no one who privately disagrees that population growth is a problem. No one, except flat earthers, can deny that that planet is finite. We can all see it in that beautiful picture from our Earth, taken from the Apollo mission. Every one of these global problems, social as well as environmental, becomes more difficult and ultimately impossible to solve with ever more people. Thank you.
I am so glad the good grown-ups like David Attenborough and Prince Philip, friend of philanthropist Jimmy Savile, and the father of Prince Andrew, close friend of champion of science and philanthropist Jeffrey Epstein, are helping find solutions to all the extra people who need to stop existing. The #climate crisis make me so sad. The totally real death threats from the climate are so scary, and I need the good government grown-ups to fix it and give 16-year-old human shield Greta her future back.
He promoted this on television, and he went around all the agricultural shows, and he had it was a one-man thing, and it had a tremendous effect. It reduced it from 3% to 1%. But one of the things he said to the farmers, he said, look, you don't need all these children, it's ridiculous. You've got to feed them all, clothe them all, educate them all, and look after their health. So have a few, and then if you want to go on entertaining yourself, have a vasectomy. Oh, yes. Well, how do I do that? Well, I'll organize it for you. We'll have buses running into Bangkok on the King's birthday, very auspicious day. And you will go into, and he took over a whole lot of school halls and that sort of thing. And he showed me a photograph of all these beds and everything, and people went in, and I said, but how did they take it? Well, he said they didn't like being seen to have the operation. Oh, I said, really, how do you do that? I had visions of, putting up. Oh, he said, it's quite simple, I blindfolded them.
I am so glad that Jimmy Savile's royal friend, Prince Philip, is helping all the extra people to not exist anymore.
What vegan birth control method would you recommend?
Vasectomy!
Hell yeah, baby! You heard me, you heard me, you heard him!
Well, get on board. Come on.
Yes,
What do you
I love
mean?
this guy.
Why should the women have to take pills?
I feel so empowered by the vasectomy I got from Dr. Gregor. We must help governments and media educate more people on the benefits of not having families or property, not eating real meat or animal foods, and living in smart city coffin apartment cubbies.
Don't screw the planet!
The earth will be so happy and healthy if we eat sustainable nutrient-fortified vegan smart kibble that the good grown-ups at the transnational banks and corporations share with us.
You see, Fred's kids are millennials. They've just surpassed baby boomers to become the largest generation in American history. And they've all been moving back to the cities. But there are only so many houses and cars that can fit in a city. And this is where the sharing economy comes in. We now have these powerful computers, smartphones, in our hands.
I love sharing and do not hate science. The good grown-up champions of science like Jeffrey Epstein and his friends Bill Gates and Prince Andrew know what's best for me and the planet. I can't wait for the nice, happy, healthy corporate global technocratic government to ration and share resources with us. I wish I could help poor 16-year-old human shield Greta Thunberg to find a carbon-neutral ride back to Europe from America so she can meddle in the elections over there and save the planet from the extra people causing the totally real and not made-up #climate crisis.
That led Greta Thunberg to take to social media to call for help. She said, I've traveled around halfway around the world, but in the wrong way. And now she's looking for a way to cross back in the Atlantic by this COP25 summit now in Madrid.
We have tons of time to turn things around. Well, not tons, but enough. Assuming we all act now. Last month, we had an ant problem at my house. This is going to sound strange, but I felt somewhat in awe of their teamwork. In fact, fire ants are experts at teamwork. They're pretty tiny, right? But when faced with large challenges like crossing a river, hundreds or thousands of fire ants can work together to build structures out of their own bodies, like rafts. As a result, they can carry the entire colony across the river. Collectively, they do what is necessary to save the entire group. We too can work together.
Rejoice. I've found a solution to Greta's transportation problem that will get her to Europe and help decrease our atrocious carbon footprint that's killing poor mommy Earth and stealing poor little Prince Philip, Greta, and Bill Gates' futures. We must use the extra people's surplus human bodies to make a giant raft that can bring this brave, 16-year-old human shield back to Europe so she can help the good grown-ups at the global banks and corporations create the happy, sustainable, totalitarian world government to fight the #climate crisis that is our fault because we exist. Nature provides the answers and the wisdom of children will guide us on our journey to sustainability on our renewable carbon-neutral giant human corpse raft.
The things humans fear most is that we will be powerful beyond our belief.
I am empowered beyond my belief to take #climate action against myself to save the planet from myself by drinking cockroach milk, eating vegan kibble, putting the pee-pee in the poo-poo, and sterilizing myself. I am not deceived. I am not being programmed to self-destruct by toxic weaponized pop culture. I'm going to ask my wife's boyfriend if this sustainable giant human corpse raft is vegan friendly.
How do you do that? I had visions of, putting up. Oh, we say it's quite simple. I blindfolded them.
Bigots, bigots, bigots. Look at all these bigots. Look at all these bigots. For those of you who are new, I used to be a millennial, just like many of you in the chat. Back when I was a pathetic millennial, my life was messed up. Then I became trans boomer. I'm now a trans boomer, trans vegan. And yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while. How long has it been since we've had a good old bigot parade here? Look at everybody. We got Jay Dyer up in the chat. We got E-Celebrity Jay Dyer. Everybody give Jay a hand. Everybody in the chat, give Jay Dyer a hand. He really likes that. He actually, if you ever meet Jay Dyer in person, he won't even talk to you unless you give him an applause. It's kind of weird. My goodness, it's so lovely to be back with all you bigots. So lovely to be here. A few minutes ago, I had all the millennials in the chat raise their hands. Maybe we should do that again. You guys, raise your hands if you're a millennial. Raise your hands if you're a millennial. Now, I know Jay's also trans boomer, or in transition. I'm not sure. There we go. We got some applauses coming, but I want to see a show of hands. See a show of hands for all the millennials in here. And if you don't remember 9/11, you're not a millennial. That's the cutoff. If you were less than let's say 6-7 years old for 9/11, if you're like 3-4 years old and less. Okay, I see a lot of hands. All right, mods, will you please ban every single person that raised their hand? You're out of here. Every freaking one of you. Every freaking one of you. All you millennials. What the hell is your problem? What is your problem? You are not okay. None of you are okay. Some of you might think you're okay, but none of you are okay, and that's what we're here to discuss. But first, we got the bigots that are supporting already. Wilhelm donating $15 via the Streamlabs super chat. Thank you very much. Kelly Fever throwing a $15 super chat as well. Says, welcome back, bigot. Welcome back, Kelly Fever bigot. You probably just got banned, though, because there's like a 60% chance that if you're watching this, you're freaking millennial. Tristan donated $15. Says, we are so back. We are so back. We are so back. We are so back. All right. We couldn't be any more back. We couldn't be any more back. But we also couldn't be in any more danger than we are right now, guys. I don't know if you know this. I don't know if you've been made aware of this, but we're in the middle of a freaking crisis. We're in the middle of a freaking crisis. And all you stupid millennials, you can't think of anything to do other than your self-care, your hero's journeys. You're all out there on your hero's journeys of self-care. You're all out there making TikTok videos about what it's like to be a dink. You guys are dinking off on TikTok. We're in the middle of the greatest crisis, the biggest existential crisis that we have ever faced here on Prince Philip's and Sadhguru's great green earth. And you're out there. Some of you don't even know what a dink is. Melaforta, I'm calling you out in the chat. You don't even know what a dink is. Well, maybe if you did more self-care, you would know what a dink is. Anyways, I've not been here for a while because I had to do self-care. I've been doing self-care. That's where my streams have been. Everybody asking me, hey bro, why is your streaming so long? Well, because I'm doing self-care. Maybe I'm doing self-care because it gives me anxiety when you ask me why I haven't streamed. Maybe I had to do a lot of self-care. You ever think about that? You ever think about me? You ever think about me when you're asking me why I hadn't done a stream in a while? Huh? Yeah, well, maybe it's because I had mental health. Huh? I'm a millennial, all right? I'm a freaking millennial. I need to self-care every once in a while, okay? I need to do mental health every once in a while, okay? So maybe you should be thinking about my mental health when you talk to me like that, okay? So, man, I'm sorry for getting heated there. That was really intense. Anyways, back to my hero's journey. The millennials. If there's anybody new here, everything I just said is 100% serious. 100%. Look at that. We got half the, look at this. Gary, thank you so much. Huge dono from Gary. I don't have the alerts working right now. I don't know why they're not working. But Gary, you're awesome. Gary just donated a big old fat super chat, $100 super chat. You guys really want it. You guys are really helping. That's my self-care, to be honest. That's my self-care. That helps me on my hero's journey. Okay? And Gary, I appreciate you. Now, you just I know I said I was having mental health, and you just reduced my mental health. You just reduced it a little bit because I was having mental health, and you knocked it down a notch with that. So if you guys keep that up, the mental health will my mental health will go away. Okay. All right. Here we go. The freaking millennials. The millennials are not okay. Let's check in. Guys, if you see a millennial, if you're out and about, you happen to see a polycule of plant-based millennials, ask them if they have mental health. Ask them, are they okay? Check on them. Be like, hey, I know you're a millennial. Do you have mental health? Because they might need you to ask them that. Here is my new, turn on that desktop audio. Here's my new fascination. What in the world is going on with these people?
I feel 10 feet tall right now and strong as an ox. Who the fuck is this guy?
It is working. We do have the. All right.
Okay, I like it. All right. Keep it down there.
There we go. $15 super chat there. The alerts are working. We tested them. I think the super chats should be turned on YouTube as well. Should be turned on on YouTube as well. All right, let's check in on our friends, the millennials.
A few weeks ago, I moved out of my house and into my ex-husband and his new wife's house. Our goal is to better parent our 3 young children. A few weeks ago, I moved out of my house and into my ex-husband and his new wife's house. Our goal is to better parent our 3 young children. Gave up the 50-50 Friday through Friday, every other week parenting plan for full-time shared responsibilities and 24/7 access to our kids. Just finished our trial run and we've all decided to stay. All as in I have a new roommate too. My partner, who has been nothing but supportive through this whole process, is moving in. We've been working on making the studio apartment a shared space that allows both of us to work from home. So far, it's been working out quite beautifully, but as you can imagine, we're still very much in a transition period. I do not think moving in with your co-parent is best for everyone, but I do hope at the very least this inspires you. I hope you know you could find love after loss. I hope you know that your current situation is not permanent.
Wait, shirt, no shirt, Carhartt beanie. No shirt, beanie, not on the ears. Ironic tattoos, mandatory ironic tattoos. Love it.
You could find love after loss. I hope you know that your current situation is not permanent. I hope you can see that there is no one way.
Wait, just can we talk about? Is this how they really set up desks?
Find love after loss.
Really...
I hope you know that your current
he stroked the mouse.
Situation is
Check out the mouse stroke here.
I hope you know that your current situation is not permanent. I hope you can see that there is no one way to raise a family. I hope that you know as hard as it is to be uncomfortable, you are there for a reason. I hope you can swap out the hate and fear you may be holding on to for love and trust. You can be their beacon of light. 2 weeks ago, I moved out of my house.
Do you understand what's going on there? I'm talking to my wife. Do you get it? Dink? We haven't even gotten to the dinks yet. I can't really talk about the dinks until you go to sleep. I don't think you're gonna be ready for that. Once you put yourself to bed, then we can talk about the dinks. We're talking about polycules right now. It's like I didn't realize how many people are into the poly stuff. This is for real, guys. So if you guys aren't aware, the new way of living, the new way of being on your hero's journey as a millennial is the polycule. The polycule. Now it's really interesting when you look at, and we talked about this so many times before, but we got to tie this into a little bit of history. Do you want to really understand a lot of the trends that you see among our generation? Speaking I know I'm presenting right now as a millennial with my clothing and whatnot, but I'm actually trans boomer. So I'm trans boomer presenting as millennial right now. But you might see me breaking off into my trans boomer, my boomer presentation when I critique millennials. So you want to really understand this, you got to kind of take a little look at history. 20th century history, the history of thought in the 20th century, especially the roots of the anti-natalist movement are environmentalism. For those of you who are new to the stream here, very critical of the modern environmental movement. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm critical of actually taking care of the environment. It doesn't mean that I'm critical of actually doing things that can improve the situation ecologically, biologically in the world. There are plenty of problems with monocrop agriculture, with the microplastics that we're just dumping en masse all over the place. Plenty of problems out there with what we're doing environmentally, especially these transnational corporations who are now behind this so-called environmental movement. But if you want to understand the history of environmentalism, you got to look at some of these characters like Paul Ehrlich. Paul Ehrlich, John P. Holdren published this book, Ecoscience, a pretty thick textbook. This was a standard textbook for environmental studies students and biology students during the 1970s and 80s. And John P. Holdren was the White House science czar under Obama. Paul Ehrlich is a rabid depopulationist and wrote a book called The Population Bomb. Population Bomb, which was one of the major anti-natalist works of the 20th century. He was all over television during the 70s and 80s. He would go on like Johnny Carson talking about how terrible people are, how there are too many people, and if we would just stop having babies, if we would just stop breeding, then everything would get better, and Mammy Earth would heal, and she would be so happy. But if we don't, she's going to be so sad. So they wrote this textbook, and in this textbook, they actually openly discuss various policies that can be used to decrease the population. Right? Long-term behaviorist programs that would get people to stop breeding, including economic models, right? Including alternative family models. Right? We've also discussed, and I made an edit last year, a shorter edit video, and I've talked about this in so many streams. But National Security Study Memorandum 200, the Kissinger memo, as it's known as, published in 1974, where policies are discussed for reducing human population as well. This push for a decreased population, you'll see a lot of the same people popping up over and over again. The population in the American future, the Rockefeller Commission report was 1969 to Richard Nixon. It was implied that we should encourage rural to urban migration, right? And this can help decrease the influence of rural people. So shifting people into urban areas, which we've seen, the millennials are flocking to these urban areas. Economically, the situation has been kind of engineered to where most millennials will never be able to own a home. Most millennials will never be able to own their own home. Most of them don't even have the ability to pay their rent for more than 2 to 3 months ahead of time. So if you read some of these documents, some of these books that I just mentioned, you get a much better understanding of where these ideas are leading and where they're coming from. But I just want to quote one piece from Ecoscience, the old ecological, the old environmentalist textbook. The growth of the women's liberation movement in the U.S. since 1965 have almost certainly been another important influence on attitude. On attitudes and thus on birth rates, through its emphasis on opportunities for women to fulfill themselves in roles other than motherhood. Many young women today are refreshingly honest about their personal lack of interest in having children and their concern for obtaining opportunities and pay equal to those of men. Such attitudes were virtually unthinkable in the United States before 1965. The women's movement was a potent force behind the liberalization of U.S. abortion laws and has also actively campaigned for the establishment of low-cost daycare centers for children and tax deductions for the costs of childcare and household work. Such facilities and policies lighten the costs of childbearing, but they also encourage mothers to find work outside the home. The experience of many societies suggests that outside employment of mothers discourages large families more than the existence of childcare facilities encourages them. Both the growing concern about the population problem and the ideas of women's liberation doubtless contributed to the changing attitudes towards family size in the 1970s. The economic uncertainty of that period may also have been a factor. While it may never be possible to determine the causes exactly, the achievement of sub-replacement fertility in the United States is one of the most encouraging developments since 1970. I mean, and these are the people that are advising presidents. These are the people that are helping to write policies for presidents. John P. Holdren was the White House science czar under Obama. That's their words. So women's liberation, women's opportunity in the workplace can help decrease family size. It's also discussed how alternative lifestyles and changing the image of the ideal family can help to augment the average family size and decrease fertility rates. All right, let me pull something up here. We got this. Now, let's take a look at what the experts at Vox have to say. The expert journalists, you guys know, if you're new to the stream, you'll know that all of us here are huge fans of journos. We think that journalists are just the greatest. They're really just fantastic folks. So Vox has this article. Yes, you can have kids and fight climate change at the same time. The progressive case for population growth. And so you've had years of propaganda telling you that, well, you're so bad for the climate. Having children is bad for the climate. It's now an assumption. It's now an assumption among the millennial generation, Gen Xers, a lot of boomers too, that it's just so bad for the planet to have babies. Having babies is the absolute worst thing for the planet. How dare you? How dare you have babies? The population crisis that we see now is one of completely diminished and destroyed fertility rates. And then, of course, you have these same people who help to bring this about saying, well, we need to replace people with massive immigration. But so here's these liberals actually making the case for, well, you could maybe have some kids, right? It's gotten so bad that the rhetoric of just a few years ago, right? This is 2021 from CNBC. Climate change is making people think twice about having children. Analysts at Morgan Stanley said in a note to investors last month that the movement to not have children owing to fears over climate change is growing and impacting fertility rates quicker than any preceding trend in the field of fertility decline. So the climate rhetoric and the terrorization of generations of people with just repetition of these tropes that you're bad for the planet, that your exhalations are destroying, they're killing the poor animals, right? Every time you eat meat, you're killing Bambi. It's led to people voluntarily not having children. So I mean, this is an even better situation for people like Paul Ehrlich, John P. Holdren, Henry Kissinger, who wrote the Kissinger Memorandum, the National Security Study Memorandum 200, the Rockefeller Foundation, who was funding all these studies on how to reduce population through social engineering and biological engineering. It's been so effective that it's even more effective than the women's liberation movement. So, CNBC, some people are choosing not to have children because they fear that doing so will amplify global warming. I mean, why is Morgan Stanley, why are these big banks discussing the perception of people in these markets that they're manipulating constantly? Why are they thinking about fertility decline? Why do you think they care? Strange, right? For some millennials, climate change Clock ticks louder than biological one. It's from NBC News. I had this internal struggle. Do I really want to bring a child into this world? A Seattle 29-year-old said. With each child, citizens of the developed world increase their carbon footprint 6-fold, adding roughly 60 metric tons of carbon dioxide to the atmosphere, one study found. Oh my goodness. Have you ever tried to lift 60 metric tons of carbon dioxide? I'll tell you, it's not easy. It is not easy. 60 metric tons. Can you even imagine? Every child, 60 metric tons. Terrible. So many tons of carbon dioxide. You notice how it's always these abstract things. It's always these abstractions. Climate change. So the assumption under climate change is that it's not supposed to change, right? It's not supposed to change. Like when the sun goes down at night, it's a little cooler. That's not natural, guys. That's not natural. That's bad. That's terrible. I mean, 60,000 billion gigatons. My goodness. My goodness. How many gigatons have you? I can't even lift that much. I don't even think Big Mike Obama can lift that much. Do you guys? I don't even think Michelle Obama can lift that many gigatons. I mean, that's just so much. So these abstractions, these weird tropes that we're given over and over and over again. You know, we hear this stuff and we think it's absurd. We think it's crazy. We can make, jokes about it here, but a lot of people actually buy into this stuff. I think a lot of our generation, a lot of the millennial generation, a lot of Gen Z actually do believe this stuff. Repetition is the greatest form of mind control. You just repeat something enough and people are going to believe it. Right? People are going to believe it if you repeat it enough times. All right, look at this. We got another generous super chat over from the Streamlabs from Carnivore Cookbook owner, throwing a $15 super chat. Thank you very much, Carnivore Cookbook owner. That's an interesting name. I'm standing next to the famed, renowned author of the Carnivore Cookbook, and I actually, it's funny. There's a copy of it. Right here. I was cleaning out my desk, dusting off all the stuff on my desk that had accumulated so much dust. There we go. You guys can get a copy of that one. Look at that. I mean, this is like we're critiquing the millennials, but I'd say one of the greatest works of the millennial generation is actually in my hands right here. That's not Jessica's book here. Look at that. I even got my last name on that book. See that? I made that book. I made my last name on the woman who made that book. So you can get yourself a copy of the Carnivore Cookbook over at the website. There's a link in the description of the video. Thank you very much, Carnivore Cookbook owner, for that super chat. You can get that book over at primaledgehealth.com. Thank you guys for supporting the stream with those chats. And also shout out to, got to give a big fat shout out to our buddies over at Chalk.com. I'm always coming in all chalked up. I was coming in chalked up to these live streams. All the bigots in the chat. All the bigots in the chat. Wait, where'd that go? How do I do that? I'm trying to change scenes here, but my scene will not change. All the bigots in the chat are all getting chalked up too. Anyways, we got the Tomcat 100. I'm taking that every day. There we go. Where is it? Tomcat 100. Fantastic adaptogen. Fantastic for actually really good for fertility, which all us millennials, fertility is crap. Not just because people are choosing not to have kids, but actually physically, so many people have trouble with conception. Probably because a lot of us wait too long. A lot of our generation thinks that, you're just going to start having kids when you're 38 years old. I'll just wait till I'm 32 and then I'll be able to have some kids. Not always the case. Not always the case. But if you guys trying to get your hormones straight, for the gentlemen, the Tomcat 100 is fantastic. For the ladies, it's great as well. I'm a big fan of the Shilajit too. Always shilling that Shilajit. You guys can use the coupon code BIG53LIFE. Use that coupon code BIG53LIFE. You can get 53% off all subscriptions. So if you sign up for a subscription today, that code is probably going to be going till the end of the month, and then I know Chalk's going to be changing it up. So this is kind of like the last we're going to be able to use. I've been rolling this all year, and a lot of the other guys that are working for Chalk are not using that good of a code, but I've been using it all year. But it's about to go away, guys. That Big 53 Life will get you 53% off all subscriptions for life. I know a lot of you millennials out there in the chat, a lot of you Zoomers, a lot of you Gen Xers. I know there's a boomer sprinkled in there now and then. All you guys could use some of that Chalk. So hit them up. I suggest getting on a subscription with that Big 53 Life to get you 53% off all subscriptions for life. They also have the Chad mode, the new Chad mode pre-workout, which is not overdosed on caffeine like so many of these stupid pre-workouts. It's a clean pre-workout with no artificial colors, no artificial flavors. Hit them up over at chalk.com. All right, why is that? There we go. Now it transitioned. There we go. So, I got the wrong one pulled up here. The Millennials. Okay, wait. Sorry, I need a professional producer. I'm the producer, the director, all of that. All of that. Here we go. Let me pull up our next piece of evidence that the millennials are not okay. I don't know what's going on with these people. I don't know what's going on with you millennials. Remember, I'm trans boomer. I don't identify. I'm presenting as boomer right now. I don't know what's wrong with you people, but I'm going to figure it out. By the end of this stream, we will have a thesis on what exactly is the problem with you freaking millennials. Here we go. All right. Sorry for the delay there. I don't like that dead air time. We gotta be smoother with that. I blame my millennial producer. Freaking A.
That's why.
Oh, goodness.
Wake up, Homo sapiens. The dark age is ending. The end of a.
I gotta start that over again. There's a moment when that reel begins that every single time.
Wake up, Homo sapiens. The dark age is ending. The end of a dark age and the dawn of a cultural enlightenment. The way to defeat tyrants is not to rise up in armed rebellion against him. What they did is they gathered underground the artists, the intellectuals, the scientists, the mystics, the lovers, the dreamers. Western civilization has been a story of that flame that Prometheus lit, that beautiful ignition, the light, the enlightenment of culture. Can we truly live as free beings together? Are you ready for the next cultural enlightenment?
No.
Because, dear human, it does not end with quarantine and despair and depression. It does not end with market crash or despot being elected. It begins with you expressing your heart's song. This doesn't mean sitting under a tree and counting mantras. This doesn't mean doing yoga or drinking green juice. This means unleashing ferocious fucking art.
Whoa, bro. Ferocious effing art. This is what it means. This means ferocious effing art. Someone's asking, how do we super chat? Here we go. I'm sorry. You should be able. Are you not able to super chat through YouTube? I thought I had super chats turned on. Maybe I need to go on the back end and figure that out. I'm blowing it. But we got the pin here. I'll pin this for a minute here. There we go. Super chats at Streamlabs. Primal Edge Health on Streamlabs. Yeah. Chase up in the chat. There we go. Bro.
and letting that guide politics, letting that guide the financial market, letting that guide decision-making and governance, and returning to the council, to the village, to the spirit, back into harmony with life. Wake up, Homo sapiens.
Wake up, homos. Wake up, homo. I'm just gonna cut it there. That's what we. That needs to be the new alert. The new super chat alert is gonna be just that guy. Wake up, homo. I need a GIF of that. I need a GIF of that now. This is. I don't know. This guy just really.
Wake up, Homo sapiens.
Oops, I gotta get paused just at the right time. Sorry guys, we're working hard on this. I'm doing this for you guys, okay?
Wake up, Homo.
Oh, I can't get him to say it. The Sapiens pops up on the. We were so close that time. We were so freaking close.
Wake up, Homo.
Oh, almost. Oh my goodness. All right. Wow. I love it. This is all I know is every one of my freaking chakras is firing. Before I saw that, I was having mental health. Like, I don't know about you. Did you have any mental health before? You didn't have mental health. Well, that just decreased my level of mental health. I had a lot of mental health, and I was needing some self-care. And now I just feel alive, bro. You have to unleash the ferocious effing arts. No, Jay, it's not farts, bro. I think you misheard. Unleash some ferocious effing arts, not ferocious effing farts, bro. Come on. Come on. Why are you like, you think you can just poke fun? What if this guy has mental health and you're over here making fun of him? Right? Freaking wake up, homo. It's art, not farts, dude. Now people are making fart jokes. They're making fart jokes in the chat. The bigots. This is why, you know what? This is why I didn't stream for a long time. You guys in the chat. You guys in the chat. You're the ones who give me the mental health. You're the ones who give me mental health. And I need my buddy here. I need my buddy here to help me. This is how you do it. This is how you improve and get less of that mental health. You have to start by, dude, what chakra do you think he's smelling when he's doing that? Like, what? Dude, is he smelling his root chakra? Maybe Jay was right. Maybe it is ferocious effing farts. But why is he smelling his finger? What? I don't understand. I'm freaking confused, dude. I'm really confused right now. So, hold on. Why? I think you might have been right, Jay. I think he's sniffing his root chakra. Dang, he just brought the root chakra all the way up to the third eye chakra. Those blinks, those beautiful eyes.
Masculinity is dead.
Oh, he said it.
Masculinity is dead. What do I mean by that?
Tell me.
I'm talking about the old concept and the old program of the armored, emotionally unavailable, and fully narrow-minded masculine.
Damn. All right, Kevin. We got our buddy Kevin here. Not narrow-minded. Not emotionally unavailable. Ladies. Mom. Dad. Freaking dad.
It's dead. It's dying. It's decaying. It no longer serves humanity. It no longer serves women. It no longer serves sons and daughters. It no longer serves the economy. It no longer serves the planet. Old hat masculinity is dead. It's gone. It's dead. I love all the men in my life.
Bye-bye.
Dad, Uncle Hank, everyone in my life from Texas that gave me those lessons, and I reject your program. And I tap into my own, which is from the heart and from the soul and from an awakened masculine, which is the new game.
Do you hear his, I don't know if you guys can hear his homies in the back. They're doing the like battle rap thing with the like, he said it. He done said it.
Game is how open can I be with my heart? How much can I serve women? How much can I serve children? How much can I serve?
Whoa. All right. You know, he's probably a nice guy, but yeah, dude, you're not about to be serving my children. All right, sorry. This is self-care, you guys. This is what I'm trying to show you guys. Like, get people, you guys making stupid jokes again, aren't you? Simp level 1000. Uncle Hank is based. Oh, King of the Hill joke. Oh. Uncle Hank is a toxic masculinity prototype. Do you know that? That Hank Hill is not a positive image of masculinity. The way he speaks. We're about opening up the heart, right? When we talk, we do it like this. And it's like the lisp is like, it's like almost lisp, dude. You got to have that like that SoCal inflection. Hank Hill is dead. My dad is not, but I treat him like he is.
Living on purpose, and guess what? My armor's coming off. I want to.
Dude, keep it away. Please don't take it off in this video. That's all I gotta say. Please don't take it off, dude. We already saw you sniffing your root chakra at the beginning. Please do not take the armor off.
I want to be emotionally available. I want to be emotionally intelligent. And I'm still going to be a warrior. I'm still going to be a killer of false programs and identities. I'm still going to be a businessman and a father and a lover and a powerful masculine presence that's sourced in power and not force and aggression. That's old masculinity and it's dead. Men out there, it's time to get new role models. Shout out to fucking the king, Elliot Hulse. You have been maybe the biggest role model and divine masculine king. And
to be fair, this is like 5 years ago. I wonder what this guy, this video is 5 years ago. Kevin Oros, revolutionary coach, but the R is in brackets. Only one bracket, not three, but you know, probably. I mean, I don't even, probably three. But evolutionary, it's evolutionary, bro. He's a revolutionary coach. He's a tantric coach. He's a revolutionary orgasm coach for men. What kind of coach is he now? This was 5 years ago though, so maybe, I mean, I'm sure he's made some progress. Come on, we gotta be nice. We gotta be nice too. We're not just here. Look, millennials, we're not just here. I know I'm trans boomer. I might look like a millennial. I'm trans boomer. You know that, obviously. I'm not just here to hate on you guys. Millennials in the chat, raise your hand if you're a millennial. If you're in the chat, raise your hand. Raise your hand if you're a millennial. Come on, just do it. Do a wave. Look, I'm gonna do it too. Here we are. I'll be the first one to wave. I'm a millennial. This is partly my fault. I mean, many of these people, I could have prevented something like this. I mean, there might have been a time when I bit my tongue. I could have called somebody a gay F slur in class, and I didn't. Right? Instead, I said, you know, I didn't say, hey, stop being a gay F slur. I said something else, and that allowed this. Right? So I take responsibility. Look at all right, mods, ban those millennials that just raised their hand. Half of them probably weren't even here in the beginning. We're cleaning house again. Millennials, you're out of here. We're not just here to hate on you. We're here to ban you. We're here to you're out, Gen Z. This is partly your fault too, Gen Z. This is partly your fault too. You guys are out. I'm now trans World War I generation. Dr. Crispy Rothschild said, "Don't worry, millennials, Generation X will save you." No, they can't save you from being banned. You're gone, all you guys. What was I gonna say? I had something. Anyways, yeah, these our friend here, Kevin. He's a coach. Let's see. I had some notes on some of the topics I want to hit on. I don't know. I'm trying to think also of what type of coach. Do you think he's like an inner child coach? It's like an inner child coach, or maybe like a. I think he's probably a tantric orgasm coach, or just a masculinity coach. Masculinity coach. I mean, this is 5 years ago though, so this guy legit is probably he's probably like a trad masculinity coach now. He's like he's probably got some partner, some girlfriend that he's gonna wife who's like one of those trad femininity chicks who just posts like basically sundress softcore porn on Facebook, where she's like where they're in the wheat field with like a see-through sundress and a description of how trad they are. I love my husband so much. I used to be really bad to my husband, but now I'm really good to my husband. I can help you be good to your husband too. Get on my email list. Technoir Graphics, what's up, dude? I come over here. Let me see. We had somebody was asking about the link for super chats. There's the link. It looks like they're not working on YouTube. I got to get that set up on YouTube. I thought they were still activated. Sorry guys. Thank you guys so much for supporting the stream, supporting the channel. Appreciate that. Oh, we always appreciate all you bigots in the chat. Oh, let's finish with this.
My life that's shown me how to live as a man. I bow to you, brother. Thank you for that. I can't wait to see you in Austin, Texas very soon for grounding camp. Brandon Hawk, you're another one. You are an awakened masculine of the heart. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you.
Dad, no thank you.
This is war. This is war. War is an art of the masculine energy on this planet. And there is a war on for those that would want to keep an old masculine program of keeping the armor on, keeping business as usual going, continuing to downplay the empowerment of minorities, of women, and the recognition of children as sovereign beings. And it's a war. And that
children as sovereign beings? Wait, children as sovereign beings? That sounds a little groomy to me, man. Let the kids decide, bro. Children are sovereign beings. If kids want chain smoke, kids want to smoke some bong loads with me, just let them, dude. Kids are sovereign, dude. They should have access to free healthcare and MDMA assisted psychotherapy. Dad. My dad wouldn't let me do MDMA assisted psychotherapy when I was 16. What is that? Sovereignty of children. What? Okay. So what is it? What is going on? What's happening to the millennials? What is happening to these people? One of the things that I think you see with a lot of these kind of like hippie coomer guys, when you actually listen to what he's saying here, it's all just like a peacocking for chicks to try to get chicks, right? Like it's like he starts out, masculinity is dead. Dad, you're dead to me. I love you, or whatever, like healing, root chakra activated, third eye cleansed. But like, whatever, Dad. It's like this rejection of your dad, and then it's almost like this weird Oedipal thing. And Freud is a total sick maniac. But remember when they made us read about like the Oedipus complex when you're in 7th, 8th grade? Did you do that? You remember that? Was it 7th grade or 8th grade? Did you read Oedipus Rex? We read it, I think, in like 7th grade English or 8th grade English. No, I was in high school. Was it high school? Or maybe actually I think we read Oedipus Rex when I was in 8th grade. Anyways, they get you thinking about all this weird stuff, but it's like, it's this strange, the rejection of your dad and this projection on the father. Like, is his dad really that bad? Is his dad really toxic masculinity? I bet his dad was just kind of a cool guy. He said his dad was from Texas. His uncle's from Texas. It's almost like the father to the quintessential millennial is just this, there's like this mythologized cartoon version of their dad. I feel like they're mixing in these tropes that they've seen from all the weaponized pop culture films and television shows. Right? I mean, it's like you can't really even trust half the things these people start talking about when they talk about their trauma. Like, there's this thing with trauma and millennials and self-care. I have so much trauma, like, gave me mental health, dude. It's like the mental health, the trauma, the self-care. Now, I'm not trying to denigrate, I've been joking about, like, the way people use the word mental health. And I know I've been using it in the wrong way. Spoiler alert. I'm a lot retarded. I'm a lot retarded, but I'm not as retarded as I act sometimes. If you're new to the stream. Anyways, these people who are like, oh, I have mental health. I have I have so much trauma. I just want to heal my trauma. Like, let's do MDMA assisted psychotherapy and heal your trauma. It's like this weird, there's always this weird, creepy, hypersexualized thing with a lot of these people. And hopefully this dude's beyond this. Remember, this is 5 years ago. I don't know what this guy's up to now. We did watch a video. The video we watched earlier, though, was more recent. He was still a little bit on the same stuff, but this strange hatred of the father, projection of this almost mythologized image of what their father is to them. You know, it's like they'll talk about, oh, society, dude. Like, society just wants you to be. Society tells you can never cry, bro. Society tells you that you have to be like so, you know, just like emotionless and vacant and not even there. What do you even mean by that? Who's telling you this? That this is, oh, men are not supposed to be. I mean, you can't be emotional as a man, bro. But like, I'm breaking out of it. I'm gonna be hyper emotional and super effeminate. No, like, I feel like the pop culture for millennials taught them to be these hyper effeminate and hypersexualized weirdos. Right, like the father figure in all the cartoon shows, all the television sitcoms, and a lot of the movies. Think about the Disney movie. The father figure is always either absent or a tyrant, or gets murdered. Right, gets killed by an antagonist character. So like these are the kids who were raised on all these films, and the next generation, Gen Z, they're a lot more disconnected from the. Like, they haven't even seen movies. Like, the Zoomers haven't even seen most of the movies. They'll use memes and they'll quote films and stuff that they've never even seen just because they're kind of pop culture relics. But the millennials were basically raised by Sesame Street, by Disney, by MTV. So I was just laughing at someone says this is a video of Tristan pre-Homestead. That's really funny. They're raised by the culture. They're raised by a weaponized pop culture. And think about the Disney kids. Think about Justin Timberlake, Britney Spears, the icons of the millennials growing up. What were they? They were children that they saw grow up on like the Mickey Mouse Club. They used to be presented as innocent children, and then they once start going into puberty, they become hypersexualized in a very creepy, completely wrong and abusive way in front of the general public. They make them into the word sex symbol. When did that come around? The word sex symbol. Marilyn Monroe might have been like the first time that word was used, but that became the norm of like what you're supposed to focus on when you're a kid for the millennials. So it's like there's this this rejection of a father, which is, most of their fathers are kind of absentee or going to work, working their butt off, and are pretty cool guys, and then their kids are being raised by television. So there's this strange projection of an imaginary father figure that they reject, combined with this hypersexualized desire to like seduce this mother figure that most of them probably didn't have in their life much too. And then you end up with this. Masculinity is dead. Yo, girl, let's heal together. Let's open up all our chakras. It's like this is it kind of makes sense. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to the bigots? We need to really do some shadow work. We got to get past our trauma. I'll help you get past your trauma. It's like now I'm not saying this guy's predatory. I think he's just kind of lost, and hopefully he's beyond this phase. I don't know. Hopefully he's far beyond this. But it's a strange phenomenon. The stoner, hippie, fake rebellious archetype of the millennial is kind of this, right? Right? Freaking keep your kundalini in your pants, dude. Keep your kundalini in your pants, and you should be starting families. You should be starting families, not trying to start a freaking polycule. All these weirdos out there trying to start dang polycules should have been starting families. I mean, this is what's so sad. I mean, it's like what was actually transmitted to the millennials. I know I'm making fun of millennials a lot, but it's kind of the boomers' fault. It is the boomers' fault. That's who raised the millennials. If you had a Gen X parent or a parent that was on the cusp of Gen X boomer generation, most of you were raised by millennials. Some of you might have been lucky enough to have some younger parents, but a lot of those younger parents in the millennial generation some of them were kind of screwed up. I mean, the kids I grew up around who had younger parents, a lot of them were single parents. I feel like the Gen X probably had a lot higher divorce rates than the boomers. I mean, it's sad, but I mean, shoot, as I was saying earlier, I'm trans boomer, so I guess it's kind of my fault too. My goodness. Knut, the Truthan, donated $5. Says, over for fake masculinity cells. Never began for Schwab bug maxers. Shout out to Jay and the Tristan from Germany. Eat your kibble and own nothing. Well, thank you so much. That $5 is going to be used to offset all the carbon from all the extra people in the chat. Because as Jay said earlier, there are a lot of extra people in the chat right now. A lot of extra boomers. A lot of extra Gen Xers. A lot of extra millennials. But sadly, it's crazy because the fertility rates of the boomers were pretty low. That was when the pill was introduced. That was a huge part of this so-called sexual revolution, which was a giant social engineering psyop revolution. The boomers' fertility rates were not astronomical. Gen X was a little less, and as it was discussed in the ecoscience quote that we just read from John P. Holdren and Paul Ehrlich, they were the social engineers and the radical fake environmentalists were just over the moon with the low fertility rates in the 70s. We're going to take a look at the millennial fertility rates here in a bit, but you can see how the social engineering of these new conceptions of family, the normalization of ideas like polyamory, the normalization of all the Skittles stuff, all the Rainbow Flag Brigade stuff, this has absolutely destroyed the minds, the souls, and the fertility of a whole generation. Which brings us to the DINKs. We got any DINKs in the chat? Any DINKs in the chat? Now, look, the DINKs are not as bad as the polycules. We'll say that, right? Like, I mean, my wife's boyfriend's a DINK, right? Like, no, but the DINKs aren't as bad as the poly thing. The DINK, in case you didn't know, is double income, no kids. double income, no kids. And it's, they started, I think TikTok is promoting this a lot. Well, what a surprise. Social media is being used to promote lifestyles that just happen to feed into the population decline, right? And there are a lot of couples out there like who, you know, might be dual income and they have no kids because of physical fertility issues, which that happens, sadly, right? That's a huge problem among our generations, right? Among millennials and Gen X, there's huge problems with fertility issues, huge problem. There's so many health issues that affect fertility, so many issues with things that we're putting into children's arms and babies' arms within hours of their birth that we know create these issues. So many problems that arise from things like things you put in your body to prevent stuff like HPV. We know that these have done a number on fertility, but the DINK is a, I mean, it sounds like some weird gay term that you wouldn't want to say in front of people like, we're in DINKs. It sounds like something that 20 years ago talking about in public would get you get you put in jail and get you on a list. It sounds like something that put you on a list for just a couple decades ago. But no, DINK is dual income, no kids, and it's people who voluntarily live that lifestyle and promote that lifestyle. And it seems to me like, I think this, who made up the term? There's no way that dual income, no kids is a term that these people invented for their lifestyle. This is like some Madison Avenue marketing crap. That's what this is. So we got a video here that I'll pull up. Uh-oh. Trauma Bonder throwing a $5 super chat says, this stream is literally giving me all the bad feels. I'm calling Gil Bates to get some GMO wine to drink the pain away. Look, man, I'm sorry. I hope I didn't give you mental health. But yeah, no, this stream is also giving me some mental health too. So maybe we'll soothe ourselves with some millennial self-care in the end, right? Eight tips for self-care for millennials. 39 ways that millennials are giving themselves self-care. I wonder how many articles are there, like just AI generated articles on millennial self-care. There must be many. So where is it? We've got a whole bunch of DINK stuff pulled up here. Where do we even start? We got this video. All right, well let's take a look at this first. So the DINK thing, you even find, if you search DINK, there are tons of articles in Spanish as well. So there are a bunch of English articles and then a whole bunch of Spanish articles. Why are there so many Spanish articles about DINKs? Very strange. Almost as if this is a social engineering con job. Here we go. DINKs. ¿Quiénes son y cuáles son sus características? Los DINKs, por sus siglas en inglés, doble income, no kids, hacen referencia al concepto de doble ingreso sin hijos. Es probable que hayas escuchado de ese término, o quizá no. Pero sí, conoces personas que tienen este estilo de vida. Los tiempos actuales han transformado a las familias y sus prioridades. So the times have changed. The times have transformed for families and the priorities. La concepción tradicional sobre la vida en pareja y los hijos también se ha modificado. The traditional conception of life has also modified. So there's a bunch of Spanish articles about this crap. The dang DINKs. Freaking DINKs. Oh my goodness. I was walking down the street with my kids. And these damn DINKs showed up. DINK. I mean, it sounds like people who would have like a parade that you wouldn't want your kids to see. But it's if you search DINKs, let's see. Just go to search all. Investopedia. First article is Investopedia. So it's more of an economic term. And I bet I would wager that this came from the that this came from economists. Which, I mean, economics is kind of a very strange thing. Economics is really, at a grand scale, economics is really social engineering implemented and tracked and traced. Economics is the tracking and tracing of large-scale behaviorist programs that are implemented by these transnational corporations, big investment banks. That's why you see Morgan Stanley talking earlier about decreasing population and how the millennials are just not having babies because they're so scared. They're so scared of the climate change. Investopedia, dual income, no kids. Dual income, no kids, DINK, is a slang phrase for a household in which there are two incomes and no children. Couples living in a DINK household frequently have more disposable income because they do not have the added expenses that come with children. They also often spend less per person on housing than singles because of their ability to share kitchens, bathroom, living room, STDs, and sexual partners. Oh, I added this last part. For related insight, contrast DINKs with DUKs, D-E-W-K, a living arrangement wherein both partners work and are raising children. It's a slang phrase. I mean, it's very strange. All right, let's look into the lives of some DINKs.
We do want to have kids, so we know this is a transitory period, but we're trying to embrace the DINK life.
All right, thank God. At least they want to have kids. And they look like they're probably in their 20s, maybe, I don't know, 25, 28. It's hard to tell how old some people are. I can't tell how old anybody is these days. They're probably in their late 20s, mid-20s. They say they want to have kids. She's got a big hickey on her neck from practicing making kids, probably. So there's a white pill at the beginning of the video.
Life as we have it, you best know in like 4 years, we're gonna look back at this video and be like, oh, I wish that I had all those benefits that we don't have now.
Are you living the DINK life?
This cat is. Not really. But we are.
Cat.
Double income, no kids is what it stands for. By the way, my name is Jake.
And I'm Kaylia.
And we are the Vedas. We are trying to live our lives differently. And one of the ways that we're doing that is by living this lifestyle. Again, double income, no kids. We're going to talk about some...
That's not living differently. That's like 90% freaking millennials. Double income, no kids. You are not special. I'm sorry. You're not living differently. If you were living differently, you'd be having children in your early 20s. You would be having children when you're 19 if you were living differently. Right? Which is the way that has always been done, the way that it should be done. Right? Like, this is absolutely crazy. We started out with a white pill, and now we're getting some straight up dookie pills. Freaking A.
Awesome things about it, and then a couple drawbacks as well. Kaylia, hit it.
Here we go. The first thing that I love most about the DINK life is the simplicity of it. Jake, Kaylia, two people, simple. Like, there's nothing else we really need to worry about, so I love the simplicity of that.
The ability to just care about yourself. One of the things that I love about it. Look, and they don't seem like they're, I'm not saying they're bad people or anything. I'm not trying to rip on them, but it's like, this is the thing. We don't want to have kids because, it's cool to it's fun to be selfish, right? If that's your reason for not having kids, that's like, to me.
That's racism, man.
Whoa.
I love to racism, bro.
I love to racism. That's a super chat, man. I love to super chat, bro. Thank you, Matt. Matt donated $5. Says, nice to see you back on YouTube streams again. If these oligarchs are so strongly against increased population, why did they allow the population to grow as big as it is after all? And why was the baby boom allowed to happen? Well, the term baby boom, I mean, it's baked into it. The propaganda is baked into the term baby boom. Population bomb, baby boom. Right? Paul Ehrlich published that book, Population Bomb. Now, I mean, the title of that was probably developed in focus groups, right? I mean, this is the terms that are used. This is not just accidental. So the baby boom was supposed to be something that you're scared of. Remember, this is the time when all the A-bomb programming was going on. People weren't having kids because they thought the world was going to end because of the atomic bomb. People were so scared of the super weapon, right? The cult of the super weapon is a great article by the Collins brothers, and it's a chapter in their book as well, Invoking the Beyond. The cult of the super weapon. I wish they had better audio quality and video quality. I'm gonna have to contact them. Maybe they got it better because they're really fun guests. And I'd love to talk about the cult of the super weapon because that resulted in decreased fertility for a long time too. They used to make the boomers get under their desks in A-bomb drills when they were in schools. Much like now they have children do their active chutes and ladders drills in school where they hide under their desk in fear. You're helpless. Hide under your desk and just wait for the bad man to come in and boom you. I mean, these are this ritualistic traumatization of people. So the baby boom that the boomers were named after, that term in and of itself is designed to make people look at human population growth, look at fertility as a dangerous weapon. So yeah, they have been working on this decrease in population for a long time. I mean, what do you think World War II was for a lot of these people? I mean, you got guys like Bertrand Russell talking about how engineering a plague would be a great way to decrease population every once in a while. I mean, these people are absolute madmen. These are absolute madmen. These are nutcases. So yeah, here's a nice white pill. The amount of work, the amount of energy, the amount of resources that have to be put into getting people to give up one of the biggest blessings in life, which is having children, which is having a family. The amount of programming required is so strong that these people have been working at it for generations and generations and publicly declaring that this is their number one goal. That's how hard it is to get people to not make families. That's how hard it is to get people to not live with their families and not desire children. And they consider themselves philanthropists. Heidi says philanthropaths. That's a great term. I'm stealing that. That's fantastic. The philanthropaths. Their philanthropic work is to convince people to not have children. These are madmen. So yeah, it takes a lot of energy for them to do that. All right, so back here.
Alone, just starting with our human bodies.
Yeah, we have a lot of 45-year-old friends who are like, oh, I can't believe, like, you're so not stressed because you have I'm acting like they're 85, but they're 45. They have all these kids running around. And I'm like, I don't feel bad about that. Like, yes, that's something that we do want to have. But during this in-between period for us, this transition, we're embracing the simplicity of life. This leads me to my favorite thing about it, is that we have a lot of disposable income, which is great, but also
kind of sounds like they're really trying to convince themselves too of how like, oh, this is such a great decision.
That's racism, man. I love to racism, bro.
Look at that. Look at these super chats. I gotta make sure they're on YouTube next time for those of you who don't use Streamlabs. Streamlabs is the best though because they don't take a big cut like YouTube does. Amelie A. Strauss says the same tactic was already used in the Weimar Republics. Are the Americans familiar with this history? Well, clearly not. Clearly not. Weimerica is not familiar. I mean, as Americans, as millennials, what we're taught about history is cartoonishly simplistic and foolish, right? And if you're lucky enough to be in like the AP history classes, you at least get some more perspective. If you're lucky enough to maybe have some base instructors or professors in university, then you're going to get a little bit better treatment there as far as like what you receive, the knowledge you receive about history. But it's abysmal. So yeah, anyways, it kind of sounds to me like they're trying to convince themselves, oh, I don't have to think about anything else. I can just think about me and my partner. It's like, how is that even fun? You guys that just leaves you open to driving each other nuts and like picking each other apart. I don't know. I feel like just you and your partner Sure, there are a lot of people that they can handle that, but you see a lot of people when their relationships like falling apart, they'll get a cat or they'll get a stupid ass dog, like some useless little tiny fluffy dog, and they'll literally treat it as a kid. Right? These vegans, remember those annoying vegans? They're literally called those annoying. No, not those annoying vegans. That vegan couple they would rescue chickens. They had like a geriatric chicken rescue in their house, and they would anthropomorphize them and make videos about them. And we'll have to see how they've been. We're gonna take a look at at some of these coping mechanisms from these antinatalist types. Or DINKs, which is like, DINKs are not necessarily antinatalist, thankfully, but they've at least been tricked into choosing this lifestyle during their most fertile years, right? During their most fertile years, they're choosing to just be in this relationship, and that's it, right? I mean, I feel like so many relationships that would have lasted a long time had they had children probably just end, right? I mean, does that make sense to you? It seems like so many relationships, when you have kids, you're at least forced into a level of maturity where you're going to try to work things out, and you're not going to be so hyper focused on each other, thinking that you're going to fix all of each other's problems all the time, which is what millennials seem obsessed with, right? That you're not just using the other person for constant self-care. So like having kids would actually probably save a lot of these relationships that end up deteriorating and becoming completely just awful, or as the millennial term, toxic. It was a really toxic relationship. He didn't support me at all. He didn't agree with me on everything. He disagreed with me on some stuff. It was totally toxic. He disagreed with me, aka gaslighted me.
We're able to save for our future. So both of those combined makes money not a stress factor as much for us, which is so nice comparatively to people who maybe aren't ready to have kids, but they have kids anyways, and then they're cash strapped for the rest of their lives, not saving for retirement. We're able to do all of those things. We're even going to Hawaii.
We are, guys. Our own vacation as a newlywed couple.
Guess how much I'm spending in the resort that we're staying at? $20 billion.
Oh my gosh. To him, it seems like $20 billion.
It is.
Like,
it's $1,000.
Over $1,000.
For a resort for 4 nights. I know some of you will be like, oh, that's not that much money. For me, this is a lot of money. But it's good because we want to vacation well because we work pretty hard. Double
Work
income,
hard,
full time.
Rest hard. That's
Play hard.
And because our lives are so simple, again, like the spending, it's just I don't know. We live our lives pretty minimalistically. Saving, having a great time together. It's just fun. We can really, because our lives are so simple, really do whatever we want. The third one
So it's a long way of saying we have more money. And more money so that we can achieve the first point that we made, just focusing on ourselves. Which, I mean, it's a dead end. That's what I don't think, I know I'm making fun of self-care and all this stuff. It's pretty corny, this whole self-care. Just love yourself. If you just love yourself more, everything's going to be so much better. No, maybe the problem is the obsession with self-care. Maybe the problem is the obsession with yourself. You become so obsessed with yourself, and that's a dead end. It's a dead end, and you feel empty because you're trying to fill this void with more empty things.
Is another thing that I love about the DINK life is the decisions. Well, the first example is family, kids. We've decided to wait and be patient. As much as I want to start a family now, we've decided to wait because it really is the best for us in so many ways. As much as culture says, hey, if you want it, just do it now, we'll figure it out. There's an aspect of that, but we've decided, let's just wait and be patient until we really feel like it's gonna be a good choice.
Yeah, for some people, this is a lifestyle.
When is that? It's like there's this whole aspect of culture which is simply designed to make you think that it's never the time for that. It's never, you're never going to be, You're never going to have enough money. Oh, they're so expensive. Oh, look, everything keeps getting more expensive. Imagine if you had to spend money on another person. Oh, it's just, you're never going to have money. It's going to be so stressful. Or you're not going to have time to do this and that and this other thing that you want to do. You're not going to have time to be selfish. Or well, look how bad the world is. Look, we're all going to get blown up by the magic nukes, and the global warming is going to boil us all. Oh my goodness. You know, it's all the problems in the world are so scary. It's so scary. It's like it's all delusion. All this is delusion. People have been thinking the world is ending for forever. Right? Yes, the world is not perfect. We live in a fallen world. But I really actually living alone and all for yourself, being, you know, like a selfish, self-centered, I don't know, being a selfish, self-centered person just makes you feel awful. It just makes you feel worse. And it just makes things worse. Whereas if you start a family young and you're blessed with a child, you hold that child in your hands, it changes you. It sounds cliche to people who've never experienced it, but it's so sad. Like, it's so sad that so many of us won't be able to experience it. Like actual love that's not just about, you know, narcissistically getting your partner to shadow you back or to, you know, reflect your own narcissism back at you. It's like actually having a responsibility of a family. It's something it's such a blessing. It's so sad. Now, at least a lot of these dinks, at least a lot of these freaking dinks are planning on eventually having children. Well, what's sad is that a lot of them don't realize by the time you decide, oh, it's time, you can have kids now, you can have babies now, by the time you're ready, you think you're ready, you might not physically be able to. It might not happen. Women getting in their 30s becomes more and more difficult. Past 35, very difficult. And the fertility rates are so down. The fertility rates are so trash these days due to think of all the microplastics we're eating. These millennials been friggin' macro dosing microplastics since they're kids. All these foods, these food-like substances that people are consuming that are destroying our fertility. Right? Like, I mean, you had Epicite in 2001. And I've talked about this. This is from F. William Engdahl's book. And I know it's funny. I've seen a lot of people reference this. And I know y'all were getting that from our streams here. Because a lot of these people, I see people on Instagram and whatnot, people who follow me, they'll start talking about some of these same exact talking points. It's like, hey, at least reference where they come from, guys. Because I know none of you are reading books. But F. William Engdahl in his book, Seeds of Destruction, talks about how in 2001, Epicite, I think it was September 9th, which is right before the big 2001 event, released a memo, a press release talking about how they had gotten a fertility-killing corn, a contraceptive corn. Contraceptive corn that would stop man from spreading his seed. All right, so they're talking about developing corn strains that when consumed, the body will create antibodies, and actually the immune system will take out spermicidal corn. So these companies are developing things like spermicidal corn. We're eating we're macrodosing microplastics every dang day. And the physical fertility of people is on huge decline. It's not just people making the choice to not have kids. There's also an attack physically on our fertility. And there's obviously things you can do to improve fertility, proper diet, right? Now we're told saturated fats are bad. You should just be drinking, guzzling corn oil and canola oil. Like this stuff is awful. This stuff is awful. But real animal fats, real animal foods have always been prized as fertility improving foods by healthy cultures throughout the ages. You look at Weston A. Price's book, Nutrition and Physical Degeneration. He went and explored these healthy 20th century cultures, and this is right before World War II, right before kind of global homo destroyed everything and homogenized the entire planet, the entire world. I mean, like that word planet. I think of Neil deGrasse Tyson, and and all the space cells. The planet, the cosmos. You are stardust on a planet whirling through a galaxy of infinite, meaningless, cold material nothingness. Don't you feel special? But yeah, Weston A. Price in his book Nutrition and Physical Degeneration was visiting these healthy cultures, and he found that all of them prized animal foods as fertility producing foods. Now, these were cultures who were eating locally produced foods. A lot of them included a lot of carbohydrates, but all of them, every single one of them, prized animal fats for fertility. And those that didn't have access to a lot of animal fats, these coastal people used, they would focus on fats from things like skates, you know, it's almost like a ray, like a manta ray-like creature. So off the coast of Peru, and you still get this stuff here. That's called the angelote. They're these eggs. And they would get them, the people that lived in the Andes, where there's very low iodine levels and where other nutrients aren't very easily gotten, they would get these eggs. They would trade goods to the coastal people and bring these dried skate eggs. And the women would eat those, and they're full of iodine, vitamin A, and other healthy fats. They would eat those dried eggs to help with their fertility, which would be very poor if they didn't consume certain foods. And we're all told that all those foods are bad, right? We're all told that animal fats are awful. In fact, it's so mean to eat animals, and it's killing the planet. It's bad for the planet. It's bad for you. It's bad for everybody. It's so, so bad. Right? But there are, simply pulling out a lot of that crap, toxic sludge from your diet, avoiding the GMO crops, avoiding all this nonsense, you're going to feel better. Focusing on good quality foods, you're going to feel better. Shout out also to our buddies over at Chalk. Chalk.com, got the highest quality natural supplements, adaptogens. They have that new pre-workout as well. The Daily, I take on the Daily. I love the Daily. The Daily has a shilajit extract, purified shilajit extract, as well as a bunch of other awesome ingredients. You can get, 53% off. 53% off site-wide. And then there's also site-wide discounts that they're running till the end of the month. And that's not going to last very long. And if you use the code BIG53LIFE, you can get 53% off all subscriptions. So if you do a single order, you're not going to be able to use that code. But if you do a subscription, like I got the Tomcat 100, I like the Men's Vitality Stack as well. The Men's Vitality Stack is awesome from Chalk. That includes the Tomcat, the Daily, and I think the Shilajit. That's a great stack. Actually got all those in front of me right here. I take all those every day. That Tomcat 100, fantastic, actually, for male fertility. And many other things. It is a powerful adaptogen. It's kind of like a super adaptogen, that Tomcat 100. It's great for the immune system, great for the endocrine system. The Shilajit in the Daily and in the Purified Shilajit, fantastic for binding to heavy metals. Also full of humic and fulvic acids, which most of our soil, the depletion of our soil with all these GMO crops and the chemical fertilizers, pesticides, herbicides, and fungicides, all this crapicides, all the biocides that they use, depletes our soil. So I love that Shilajit. Shilajit's something I've been taking for, oh my goodness, over like 12 years? No, like 14 years, I think, probably been taking Shilajit. I've always loved it. So hit them up over at chalk.com. You can use that coupon code BIG53LIFE that you see up on the screen. There's a link in the description. You can get 53% off all subscriptions for life. Get it over there at chalk.com. Shout out to Chalk. They're super based company too. Like you guys would be, the owner of Chalk, who doesn't do a lot of public stuff. He's so cool. He's such a cool dude. So this is why supporting small family-run companies like Chalk, who support small family-run companies like our company here that enables us to do these streams, can actually support yourself and your communities and everybody. Everybody can get more based. And we can own the DINKs. We can own the DINKs. Go to chalk.com and they will donate to shelters for DINKs. Actually, you'll get 53% off those subscriptions if you use Big 53 Life, and then also 3% of that is going to go towards DINK shelters to shelter the rest of the world from these friggin' DINKs.
For the rest of their lives, they get married or they're in a relationship and they never have kids. We do want to have kids, so we know this is a transitory period, but we're trying to embrace the DINK life as we have it. You best know in like 4 years, we're gonna look back at this video and be like, oh, I wish that I had all those benefits that we don't have now.
Yeah.
But we love the slow life, and we love that it's been a decision that we've made. No one's made it for us.
Yeah.
And we've embraced it.
We have embraced it, babe.
My biggest drawback,
tell me,
as someone who loves to live on purpose and to create things and to lead, it can be hard because I'm the kind of person that loves to be forced into a corner and then choose, okay, how am I going to live my life? I'm very dramatic. So the fact that I don't have too many demands.
All right. Man, it's kind of sad. It's weird hearing a male say that. Say, I'm very dramatic. And then the woman's like, yeah, very dramatic. He was, before we made this video, he was scream crying. He was freaking scream crying before. He's very dramatic.
Hands on my life can make me, can very easily make me lazy or make me like, oh, well, there's no big challenge to face right now. With that said, we don't really struggle with that too much, but once a week, maybe I'm like, okay, I could be doing something right now. Of course, we work like 50, 60 hours a week.
We work hard.
Yeah, it's stuff like we don't. But some
we work hard. We're actually inner child coaches. We coach. We are coaches who coach other inner child coaches to coach others' inner childs. Yeah, we work really hard.
Sometimes I want that big challenge, that big mountain to climb. We do have that, but when we have kids, I think I'll look forward to the crazy, huge Mount Everest type of challenge that will be faced when we have kids.
Right. And for me, similar to that though, it's like I do want to have a family now. Like I can imagine, I always talk about what if, there's little Jake and Kaylee here. We wake up and it would just be so simple. We love on our kids. Like there's a simplicity in that like makes me happy. Like, ooh, my kids. Ooh.
The cat's
our cat is, I don't know what she's doing.
Rumbling through things.
Oh, it would just be so weird to have kids and like care about the kids. Oh, there's a cat, our little Pookie Pumpkin. Oh, our cute little Cookie Poo, we love you. I wish you could speak to me, little Pookie Pumpkin kitty. All right, bigots. Let me come over here. Let's check in on the bigots. Thank you guys for the super chats and the support. You guys make sure to support yourself, support your own health. We talked a little bit about the greatest achievement of the millennial generation, which is the book mentioned earlier by that generous super chatter, Carnivore Cookbook. You can get yourself a copy of that. There's a link in the description. Head on over there to the website. You can check the link in the description there. Support yourself and support your health as well with our sponsor over at chalk.com. You can use that coupon code BIG53LIFE. That's BIG53LIFE. And there's going to be site-wide discounts, as well as on top of those discounts, you can lock in that 53% off all subscriptions for life. You cancel anytime, obviously. The subscription is the best way to do it because you don't have to remember to re-up, and you're getting the crazy deal, 53% off all subscriptions for life. I think they're going to run that for the next few weeks. Pretty sure at the end of the year, that's going away. We've been running that code for a long time now. I think it's about to be out, guys. So hit them up over at chalk.com. Support yourself, support your health, and support this stream. Amelie Strauss asking, is Sadhguru? There are too many people on the planet. If you would only stop making the babies, if you all live the lifestyles of the DINKs and the twinks and the man who had the fingers that stinks, the hippie man in the beginning, Kevin, if you all live the lifestyle of the DINKs, the twinks, and the finger stinks, planet be happy. Planet will flourish. But if you do not listen to Sadhguru and the World Economic Forum, the planet will die. It will be so sad, and it will die. All right, guys. The wife has already gone to bed. We're going to wrap this one up. It's been a nice stream. It's been so lovely hanging out with all you bigots again. I didn't even get to, this is what happens. To prepare for these streams, first of all, I got to make that thumbnail image, and I have to make it myself. I'm a bit of a stickler on that. I like my own thumbnail images. I got my own style of making them. But that thumbnail image, I'm kind of mapping out the shape of the stream in that thumbnail image. I didn't even get to half the stuff. We didn't get to talk about COP28. We didn't get to check in on our friends in the polycules. My goodness, your wife's boyfriends are going to be so happy because we can pick up where we left off on the next stream. We got a bunch of nice surprises coming. Got another collab stream this week coming with somebody who you might know. You might have heard of him. He's a huge diva. He might have been in the chat earlier. I can't say anything. It's top secret. I can't be dropping that information yet, but I think you guys are going to be quite happy with what's to come. 2024 is going to be mega based 2024. We got a bunch of great streams coming, bunch of good stuff coming. So yeah, we still got to talk about COP28, and that's going to be for next time. So Sadhguru, tell you all, thank you very much. Now you all may go and decrease your carbon footprint by cutting off your feet or making them very, very small. You put the foot, you bind your foot, you wrap it very tight, and you may find that your carbon footprint decrease dramatically. And remember, there are too many feet making the footprints in the carbon, 60 million gigaton. Every single baby that you see, it costs the planet 60 gigaton. Sadhguru is a strong man, but even I cannot lift that many gigaton of carbon. Even Big Mike Obama cannot lift so much carbon, which is why you need to be like the DINKs. You need to be like the man who at the beginning of video smell his finger because they stinks. And you need to be like the twinks because they do not make the babies that make mommy Earth so sad.
Take